Supergirl was not what I expected at all. Supergirl, I've been so stoked about Supergirl. I could not get Supergirl out of my mind. I don't know why. I don't want to be one of those people. I hate the people that compare movies to books of things. And maybe it's because I don't read books. But what I have started doing is reading comic books because it's easier for me. There's pictures. I read the Supergirl book that this movie follows loosely. And I use the term loosely, not loosely. It's like very, very loose. Like there's a few similar characters. A few of the same scenes happen similarly in the comic book, but that's about it. Which is fine. I don't think deviating from the source material is a bad thing inherently. I would never, ever, 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 ever think that or say that. However, in this case, there are some things that they do that just don't make a lot of sense why they did them. Before we get into spoilers, I did not hate this movie at all. It's like good. It's like fine. It's like fun. It's like decent. It's like I didn't have a bad time at the movies. There's enough stuff to enjoy that I came away feeling good. For example, I really like the creature designs for the most part. This is sort of like a road trip through space, a buddy comedy road trip through space. And so you come across a lot of crazy creatures, a cast of crazy creatures and critters and cool kids. A lot of them are designed pretty cool. It's like I was watching peak Star Wars. They're interesting. They're not just like people with face paint on for the most part. And there are a lot of scenes that look really good visually. And I mean, I think Milly Alcock has good charisma and is like pretty charming, but I mean, that's like there might be some biological processes in the works with that one. I think Lobo was pretty cool as a character. He's kind of fun, kind of funky, kind of groovy. Doesn't get a whole lot to do. He's kind of just there for the most part, but I mean, he's got aura. So it's not a bad movie at all. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. But I'm gonna get into some stuff that I'm usually not a stickler about this stuff at all, okay? So the movie and the comic both start out pretty closely. There's a character named Ruthye, and Ruthye lives on a farm, and her dad is killed by this guy named Krem of the Yellow Hills. And Ruthye takes Krem's sword that he left and sets out on a revenge plot to go kill Krem of the Yellow Hills because he killed her father. She meets Supergirl in a bar. Supergirl is reluctant at first, but agrees to help her find Krem after Krem shoots Krypto with a poison arrow. So now Supergirl needs the antidote to the poison in Krypto, and she only has 3 days to get the antidote from Krem of the Yellow Hills. And so they set off on a road trip across the galaxies and the stars and the cosmos to find Krem of the Yellow Hills. Ruthye wanting to kill him, and Supergirl just wanting to get the antidote for Krypto. They both kind of end up in the same spot, but the way they get there is pretty different, and to me is pretty important. In the comic book, the comic is all from Ruthie's perspective, and the opening scene is her telling about how Krem of the Yellow Hills killed her father. Basically, Krem was a king's agent in their little kingdom, and they kind of just go around doing inspections and visiting families, trying to gauge whether or not those families are for or against the king. That's how he presents himself. And then some words are minced. Ruthie doesn't really know what they are. Her father is talking to Krem, and Krem just fillets him and leaves his sword, Krem's sword, for whatever reason. And the rest of the family in the comic is like, nah, well, what are you gonna do? They kind of all move on, but Ruthie just can't let it go, and she's determined to avenge her father. And so in the movie, this is what happens in the movie. They're all chilling at the house. Krem pulls up with a band of gangsters, and they come in, and the family just assumes they're there to steal swords, because Ruthie's dad apparently makes swords, even though in the comic he's a rock miner. They assume he's there to steal swords, and they're just like, yo, you could take the swords. And he's like, alright. And then Ruthie's brother sees Ruthie in the hallway, and he jumps out to scare Ruthie, and in turn scares Krem, and Krem chucks an axe into his back. And then everyone else starts fighting him, and he kills her whole family, and then she's the only one left standing, and he just leaves her alone, even though we learn later that the brigands kidnap girls for their conquests to be companions, so it doesn't really make sense that he just left her there. So he just dips and leaves her. And so then she's like, oh, not only did my father die, all 3 of her family members died, and for no reason. In the comic book, we find out that Krem kills her father because he got offended at a joke that Krem told. Ruthie's father was so devoted to the king that Krem's attempt at probing him offended him, and his abrasiveness towards Krem kind of pissed Krem off, and he just killed him, which kind of tells me a lot about Krem's character. This one, it's just like he gets spooked and starts killing people. So right off the bat, I'm not understanding why they're doing what they're doing. So then we go to the bar, and Supergirl's getting drunk for her 23rd birthday. She's on a planet with the red sun so that she can get wasted. Ruthie comes into the bar, as she does in the comic book, looking for somebody to take her to Krem of the Yellow Hills and help her on her revenge plot. And she vows that whoever kills Krem of the Yellow Hills and lets her watch, she wants to make sure he's dead, can have her sword. So in the comics, she goes to the biggest, meanest, toughest, roughest bounty hunter in the whole land. And he's like, yeah, I'll take your sword and I'll kill Krem, but you can't, you're not coming with me. And he takes her sword and he leaves, and she's trying to fight him. And Supergirl catches this, and she, fights the guy and gets Ruthie her sword back. In both mediums, the next day, Ruthie is following Supergirl, and she's nagging. Oh, will you please help me fight Krem, please? And Supergirl's like, no, dude, I'm not. It's not really my fight, But then this is something... This is where I got really, turned off in the first act. In the comic book, Ruthie, Supergirl, and Krypto are at Supergirl's ship. Supergirl's trying to leave, and Ruthie is bothering her. Krem and some homies, the bounty hunter from before, I believe, come to the ship, and they're like, yo, I heard you guys were looking for me. You got something you want to say, homie? And they start fighting, and they confront Ruthie and Supergirl, and they have a big brawl. And in that brawl, Krem kind of gets his ass whooped, and he retreats to Supergirl's ship, and he shoots Krypto with the arrow, just like he does in the movie, but he takes the ship as a last-ditch effort to escape the situation because he realizes maybe he's a little bit out of his depth, so he leaves. In the movie, they're same situation. They're all hanging out at the ship. Krem and his homies pull up, but they don't confront Supergirl or Ruthie. They're just like, oh, look at this ship. This is pretty sick. This is a cool ship. I'm taking this. And then they get on the ship, and then he starts eating Supergirl's Cheerios, and then shoots Krypto with the arrow. And then they leave. And again, it kind of sucks the life out of the story. It seems like Krem's just... They paint him as somebody with just no motives or no belief system. His character is kind of shot. And there's just so many things like that. The rest of the movie is basically none of the comic is in the rest of the movie. The only other thing that happens is the part with the green sun. And in the book, in the comic, Supergirl and Ruthie, they get they're in a battle with Krem, and Krem chucks a little orb at them that makes them transport. And it's kind of awesome. And so he transports them to the place with the green sun. And you want to know what? The place with the green sun has dinosaurs on it. And so Kara's out of commission, and Ruthie has to step up and defend her. And that's where she kind of earns her stripes and sort of comes into her own. But they kind of strip them of that. They kind of strip Ruthie of that in this movie. She kind of just gets tossed around the whole movie and doesn't really get any action. Then we can get into some of the technical stuff really quick. The look of the movie is pretty decent for the most part, except for the editing is horrendous. It is so bad. They do this thing throughout the whole movie, specifically in the action scenes, where there's some weird keyframe zooms. Like I'm watching a TikTok edit. It was so off-putting to watch. And some of the stuff with Supergirl flying looks pretty bad, and there's just some bad looking stuff. One thing I don't like, all right, here we go. This movie has a lot of girl bossing for something that came out in 2026. Let me tell you what I mean by that, okay? I'm all for powerful female characters. The Supergirl in Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow comic, is a powerful female character. But I think there's a difference actually between a powerful female character and a powerful character that happens to be female. Like, Supergirl in the comics seems like a powerful character that happens to be a female, but in the movie, it's like they're trying to really push that woman thing. Like, for example, there's one line where Ruthie's like, they're talking about Superman, and she's like, "Oi, oi, your cousin's name's Superman?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oi, but how much older is he than you? Why is he Superman and you're Supergirl?" She's like, "I don't know, kid." I'm like, dude, are we for real? There's just some, and the stuff with the brigands, like, trying to create a master race of men. There's just, like, little random things that were thrown in there, which is, like, whatever. It's not a huge deal. It was just kind of weird. But why is her name Supergirl, by the way? And why is Superman's name Superman? Maybe she'll come back as Superwoman in the next movie because she's gone through this sort of growth. Superman's in this movie a lot more than I thought he would be, and I like his relationship with Kara. I like a little bit of the Kara backstory. I think it's interesting, the difference between her and Superman and how they grew up. They also try to do just a lot of quippy lines, dude. So hard to watch sometimes, the quips. There's one in the trailer that I knew was going to get me, and I was like, if this is the dialogue the whole time, it's going to be rough. And it sort of was. There's one line in the trailer where she's like, "Oh yeah, this looks like it's not going to end well. For you guys." Like most Redditor of all time. And there was just lots of stuff like that, like every fight just trying to be all that, you know. All in all, decent watch, but man, oh man, I was a little bit disappointed, and I just wanted to air my grievances. Let me know what you guys think, though. Am I wrong in some of these spots? Probably. Tell me what I'm missing, or let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I love you. And if you want to consider subscribing, I make lots of videos about movies every single week. So thank you very much. And you can follow me on Letterboxd also in the description. Bye.